Hey guys, welcome to Flying in Space with Planet Head. Even though this isn't a Flying in Space with Planet Head video, this is video more so for my family and friends. But anybody else who's watching that is coming to Reykjavik, that's cool too. Just to answer a few questions. I'm hoping the sound on this is good. I'm currently at my hotel in Reykjavik, Iceland, going to the EVE Online Fanfest, but I'm not using my normal headset, so I think it's doing okay. Sorry about this part here. I only have one monitor, so let's get rid of that. I just want to make sure it was running. Second part to address is the hat. I got this hat specifically for traveling and walking around, and then didn't wear it because I felt weird wearing it because I've never worn a hat like this before. And having the size noggin that I have, it's very hard for me to find hats that fit, but this one does. So I was thinking if I wear the hat in the video, then maybe I'll get more comfortable with it and I'll start walking around with it more, because it is actually really a comfortable hat. But this video I wanted to do, it's not going to be about being in Reykjavik. It's more so just I didn't want to blow up my friends and family on Facebook with 50,000 pictures. I thought maybe I'll just, and then have to type a bunch of stuff about each one. I thought maybe I'll just make a quick video about the walking tour that I went to yesterday in Reykjavik. It's a walking food tour. Now, as you can see here, I also have been doing a puzzle in my hotel room. This is the first time I've ever done this, ever been overseas, and I'm by myself, so I'm kind of, there's some downtime, and I'm really relaxing, but I also needed something to keep my brain going other than being on the computer on there, so I bought a little puzzle that I'll slowly be working on as the week goes along. Doing pretty well on it right now, though. Also, if you know me, you know I love coffee, and I've got my coffee here, so I'll drinking a little of that, even though it's super hot right now. If you notice the coffee mug, super small. They seem to like things small here. Oh yeah, that's way too hot. So let's just dive into it. I want to show you guys some of the stuff that I saw yesterday on the walking tour of Iceland. And as I go through each picture, I'll probably talk a little bit about them. So let's check out the next one here. Now, I'm not a massive YouTuber. I do a lot of videos for my channel. Those are just video gameplay and just me blabbing on live, and I don't really have a script for this. So, so this is one of the main streets or walking streets of Reykjavik. And it goes up to the National Church, or the main church, the highest point in Reykjavik. There'll be a better picture of that down the road. This is I think they call it the Rainbow Road, and you'll see this in a bunch of YouTube videos about Reykjavik when people are walking around it. The reason why I threw this picture in here is kind of the funny part. It has a couple of different things. First off, by this view, and you'll see this view all the time in these videos that people post, and you think this rainbow goes all the way up to the cathedral. It literally stops at the end of the block. I came in, that was one of the first things I kind of noticed as far as the videos that I see from all these tourists or these video bloggers. They make it seem like this massive thing, and it really isn't. It's this road that goes straight up here. So this was I had about an hour and a half to kill before the food tour that's done by the company Wake Up Reykjavik. And so I went for a walk, and I was just looking for a cup of coffee. And ironically, there was a really nice coffee shop just to my right here, but there was like 10 or 15 people standing outside of it. I walked a little bit farther up, found a bookstore that had 3 people in it and 1 person ordering coffee, sat down there and relaxed to get ready for the tour. And let's see what my next one is. Oh, and that's my cup of coffee. My cup of coffee and my cookie. Even though I was going on a food tour, I was really hungry. The only reason I kind of took a picture of this, well, the cookie was really good. The coffee was pretty good. The interesting part, and I don't know if I've ever seen this before, maybe it's something that's out there a lot. This sounds really dumb, but I like to figure out little things along the way, and their saucer for the coffee cup wasn't in the middle here. It was actually to the side, and I think the next picture has that. Yeah, so they actually have a bigger space on the side here for anything that you'd want to put in there, and it actually carries easier. I know this is really dumb, but I like figuring out these little things. I may actually, well, I don't really use saucers at home. I use big, like, coffee mugs twice the size of this one. We're going to try again. But I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, so I know it's dumb, but let's see here. So this was another picture that I took before I got to the tour. I was actually walking back down to the Harpa, it's called the Harpa Concert Hall. I think that's what it's called. That's where I was meeting up with my tour guide. And you'll see a bunch of pictures of it here in a second. We'll click through those real quick. But actually, this was part of the sidewalk along the way, and I actually liked this a lot better than the Rainbow Road, just because it seemed more artistic. My understanding is that with the Rainbow Road, this was done during a gay pride parade over a decade ago, and then they just decided to keep it going. Whereas this, and you'll see a lot of colorful drawings and things like that, and paintings in Iceland, and the general rule, from what I understand, is since it is there isn't a whole lot of color within Iceland, because they don't have a lot of trees. They do have trees, and they don't have a lot of different things. They tend to paint their buildings in different things and do artistry all over the place. And you'll see some of that in the pictures that I've got. But the only other negative, and this might be the only one of the few negatives that I've ever seen here, is I was really kind of surprised at the amount of graffiti that I've seen around, at least the city of Reykjavik. Later on this week, I might try to get outside of town. I bet there's a lot less of this. But I don't see any roving street gangs or anything like that. It was just kind of strange to see a lot of this, where other things were so beautiful and that sort of thing. So, and I don't think of this as art. There are some amazing murals and things like that on sides of buildings, which you'll see, but this is not, and there's a lot of just tagging and stuff like that. So that's really the only negative that I've seen so much. But cookie, saucer, street. This is for my sister. Very quickly, if you want to look it up, it's the Hand Knitting Association of Iceland. Yeah, see right here, even here there's little, it's so, because it's such a beautiful city. And I mean, if you are a scientist that wants to figure out a way to get rid of tagging without hurting current paint, you would have thought they'd come up with that by now. But this is the Hand Knitting Association of Iceland, not Ireland. Maybe that's my next trip, Ireland. Then I just don't have to, I have to change one letter. But it's a very small shop, but it's very well known. On the tour, this was pointed out to us, even though I'd already seen it the other day, and I said, "Oh yeah, I've already been in there." It was like a bull in a wool shop, because I was so big, and there was probably, even at like 10 o'clock in the morning, there was a bunch of people in these two little rooms, and just trying to get around was a little bit tough. But beautiful little place. If you want to check it out, please do. It's the Hand Knitting Association of Iceland. If the sweaters and the hats are hand knit. The irony with this, when I was leaving, was whenever I was walking out, the woman that was at the counter was actually knitting. So, really great little place. This is the cathedral that I was talking about earlier. I think, if I don't have a picture of it later on, this is a picture of Leif Erikson, and or a statue of Leif Erikson, and this is the actual cathedral here. I think I've got some more pictures later on. If not, I might put it up on Facebook. I took some pictures of the inside, that sort of thing, but I want to get to the food tour here. So this was me walking back down to the Harpa concert hall, where we're meeting up, and along the way, as you can see here, and you're going to see a little bit more of this. This is actually the colorfulness of some of the buildings and what they've painted. Let me just make sure my sound is still going. Okay. And they do a lot of this sort of thing. And this is another thing that caught my eye. Lots of breads and pastries and stuff. I may actually hit up here. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow, wake up early to get some good coffee in there. But this was on the way back to Harpa. This is the actual building itself. I did not go in. I took a brief look in and then stopped. And then I got down to the shore. So walking, I'll just show you here. Walking this direction, you can see down here the shoreway, and then once you hit the shoreway, if you just take a left, that takes you over to the Harpa concert hall. But so I got to the shore, and basically you can see all the mountains and stuff like that. And then there is, and I'm terrible with remembering, I should have written all this down. I don't really script anything out when I do these. But this is one of the sculptures. I actually had to work my way around to a spot. I will probably go down here later on. There are a lot of tour buses and things like that, and you can't really see it over here, but there's a large group of about 30 to 40 people right over here. It's just trying to avoid the crowds and stuff, but I was able to get a nice little picture with the mountains in the background. Maybe tomorrow or later this week, if I wake up early, I'll go down and take an early morning picture of this with no one around, maybe a little closer. But it is really neat, just the sights and sounds. So this is the first picture, and I'll probably skip through a lot of these, but this is the Harpa Concert Hall. I think they said that it was about 15 years old. And it's right along the docks that are down, some of the docks that they have down in Reykjavik here. So I started walking along the shore, and I was supposed to meet up with the food tour right down here. Again, another picture, and then another. There's my thumb or my finger, just to show you guys the inlet here. I think I was trying to take a picture of the one of the dock areas here, and this is a little bit up more close to the Harpa Concert Hall. Inside was very interesting. The irony is, I really needed to use the bathroom here, and I know you don't really need to hear about that, but there was only one available, and it was up on the second floor. So I was able to find that, and then I was able to direct 3 or 4 people to it who were doing the same thing as me. So this is actually the inside of the Harpa Concert Hall. If you see this wall of glass right here, this is the inside of that, and I came up the stairway, and if anybody needs it, if you're ever in Iceland, the bathrooms are right down here on the second floor. There is another set if you go in the basement later on, but ironically, later on the day, whenever the food tour was done, both of them were closed. So luckily, my car was right there. There is a very nice parking lot down below this where I parked as well, and then was able to walk around. You can park in Reykjavik, but I actually liked being able to park down here. I watched a couple videos, and they said it was one of the better places to park because it's kind of a central location, and you can always get back fairly easily. Doing what I did, and I learned from the videos, find the water and take a left or a right, and you'll get to the Harpa. So if you ever get lost, so I was like, oh, okay. But really beautiful glass work here and stuff like that. And this is the Harpa, and I just took a picture here. They've got different things that go along here. It's a conference center. If you notice, Iceland, from what I understand, 90 to 95% of the people in Iceland speak English. Now, Icelandic is their native language. I learned a lot just in the first couple hours of being here, feeling like a little bit of a fish out of water because everyone was speaking a different language, and you don't want to interrupt anyone or bother them. And I've never really been in that situation. This is my first trip overseas. But I've gotten a little bit more comfortable, and everybody here has been so nice and so friendly. And I haven't actually run into anyone who doesn't speak English. So if you're ever looking to go someplace overseas where you feel you can acclimate yourself pretty quickly, this is a pretty neat place. The only tough part for me, and it's being my first time overseas, is there's going to be signs and things like that I don't know. Like if I see a sign for a restaurant, but then I don't. A lot of times it'll be in English, but maybe if I went to the grocery store later on in the day and I was trying to figure out what was in different things or what. Oh, here's a great example. So I did get a little cakey thing, which I've eaten some of, and it looked good. So I got it. It's a brun roulette, and I'm gonna. But if you notice, it doesn't tell me what it is, and the ingredient, the stuff on the back, it doesn't tell me. So, when I got it back to my hotel room, I was like, wait, what if there's like some sort of flavor in there that I don't like? I just wasted my money on it. It's not like I could taste test it, but as you can tell, it's pretty good so far. So this is Harpa. Concert hall. I think I took some more pictures of it here. Ooh, this is a nice one. So this is from the other side. And this is the docks that are right next to the concert hall. This is a full glass side of the building here. I'm trying not to talk too much. Okay, so we actually met, maybe I have a good right about here. Now I tried to take pictures of where we were going for the food tour and the food. I did get one. I didn't take any pictures of the people I was with. I met up and there were 14 of us. Long story short, I had found this tour on YouTube just by searching a bunch of different videos to learn about Iceland. It's done by Wake Up Reykjavik. And from what they say, it's the highest rated food tour on TripAdvisor in the world. And I've never been on a food tour, and this was awesome. So it's the highest rated on my tour guide because I have a tour guide of one. But going forward after this experience, I think if I travel again and I spend any amount of time in a town, I'm going to see if they have some sort of food tour because it was freaking awesome. Because if you think about it, it was about 3 to 3.5 hours long. And we went to 5 different places, walking the city and actually into little nooks and crannies of places that I might never have even, you're walking along and you just pass up something. And so we went to 5 different places that I had seen. And then as we were going to these different places, our guide was giving us little bits of heads up about different areas. He actually pointed out the hand knitting shop. He talked about the statue and the cathedral. He also pointed out a couple of different things along the way that I might have pictures of. But yeah, so we met right here. There were 14 of us. There were 4 people from Australia, 2 wonderful women, Muriel and Maureen, if I remember correctly. I apologize. They were from South Africa. Another couple from the East Coast. She had said that she had worked in Delaware, but I think she either lived in New York or lived in New Jersey, one of the two, or even Maryland. We talked about Maryland a bit, but they traveled all over, and they'd been on multiple food tours, and they were having a great time. And she said they had gone on a food tour in Greece, which was amazing. And that sounds amazing to me. Though never really had an interest in going to Greece. If they've got good food, I think they do. Maybe I'll go if I have the money. And then there was another couple from Boston who was awesome, even though he's a Patriots fan. We had a really good conversation there. I think they would be drinking buddies of mine back at home. And then a really nice couple from Colorado who had just finished up doing the Ring Road tour. And they told me, and I doing it in a camper van, and I had really thought about that, and now I'm just even more stoked because they said it was a great time. They had their 3-year-old child with them. The only negative that they said was every once in a while the winds would pick up, and it's a larger truck, and you weren't allowed to drive if the winds were at a certain speed because of it being hit. But they said that there was only one time they were stuck for about 5 hours, but they said since they were in their camper van, they just hung out and relaxed and took a nap, and no issues there, and then went on their merry way. I said it was a great experience. They did it for about 10 days, if I'm not mistaken. They said the northeast of Iceland was their favorite spot there. So, but we're getting the food tour. Okay, so back over here. So this is, oh, you know what? I have a note thingy here. I wrote down notes. So this was the first restaurant we went to. Now, I'm not going to try to say the names of these in Icelandic. My understanding is that this in English is called the Cute Pig. And I will try to, in the description of this video, Dagur. Dagur is his Icelandic name. I think I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm going to refer to him as Day. He said refer to him as Day because it's easier to say. Day said that this was one of the oldest buildings in Iceland, or older buildings in Iceland. Originally made, there was a fellow who built this, and he was teaching falcons. And I guess I didn't take a picture of it here. At the top of the building, there are 4 wooden statues of falcons. But long story short, this was the first place that we stopped at. And this was the first meal that we had. Now, this was Artic char with, and I'm not going to try to go through all the food types here. Day actually sent us an email with a description of everything, so I will just copy and paste his descriptions of each one of the buildings and the names, the Icelandic names of the buildings or the restaurants in the description if you want to check those out. And that'll be a lot easier. I'll just copy and paste that rather than trying to pronounce them all. Here's the ironic part. The Arctic char was great. It looks like salmon, but it's actually Arctic char. There's some greens underneath, and I think I'm trying to and a little bit of a topping. The bread, which you'll have to look up. I apologize. I didn't write a whole lot of notes. Everybody's making fun of me because I was writing notes when I was walking. But I actually really liked the bread. Now, this looks like a tortilla chip or something like that, or a pita, but it really isn't. It was just some light bread that had kind of a light sugary taste to it, from what I understand, but it doesn't have any sugar in it. Really amazing bread. If you want to check out the description, there it is. And then right here is maybe one of the more famous things in Iceland, water. The water here is amazing. If you haven't heard about it, you can literally, and I'm not exaggerating here, you can drink the water out of the tap in your bathroom, and it tastes better than any water that you'll have in the United States. I've actually been making my coffee with it. Think about this too. I actually took a shower this morning in this amazing water. Wow, it is really just amazingly clear and crisp. And I know this sounds dumb. Oh, there's a picture of my little notepad that I was doing. So this is Arctic char. It is not salmon, very similar to salmon, but actually I think we had some more Arctic char later on. I'm not a big fish guy, but I'm getting more into it, and this was really, really good. And the one thing I have to say, there's no way to explain it. All of the meals that I got today, its partial components were good, but whenever I cut into this and ate everything together, all of the meals had this really great taste to them. When it was like a combination of flavors, it did really, really well. So that was that. Oh, and I did take a picture of the menu. I meant to do this for the rest of them, and I never did. But if you want to check it out, this is their menu at the Cute Pig. Sæta Stinded? I don't know. I'm not going to try anymore. So the next place we went to is maybe one of the more famous spots in Iceland. And it is your Icelandic hot dog. Now they make their hot dogs here out of lamb, and I don't want to go too. You can watch a lot of videos on YouTube about the hot dogs here. People love them. I personally love hot dogs. I'm going to be very honest. The hot dog was okay. It wasn't anything special, but it was the stuff that went on it that was great. And I got the regular type. Now you can't see it here, and I don't think I took a picture of it, but they actually put most of the stuff underneath the hot dog itself, and they have these crisp onions. It makes it taste so much better. It's their own way of doing it. I'm really surprised people haven't started doing it around here, because wow, it was really, really good. It was really simple. So we went from the Cute Pig over to walked about 5 minutes over to one of the most famous hot dog stand in Reykjavik. There are a lot of them around, and you can get a hot dog at almost any convenience store, and it's 100 times better than any convenience store that you can go to in the United States for a hot dog. They actually don't have them on the little roller things. They actually make them, because a lot, especially if you're not in Reykjavik, if you're driving around, the gas stations can be where you get your food, where you get your stuff. It's not like Sheetz. It's like their local market sometimes, and there's actually sit-down areas there to relax in, and everybody loves their hot dogs here, and I may have another one today. I might try it someplace else. So if I do, I will post up singly food later on. Wow, this is going quite a while. Let's just double check. 26 minutes, shoot. Okay, sorry about that. So we left the hot dogs, and on our way to, and this is where I think it's kind of cool during these food tours, they can give us kind of a view of the all right, give us a tour of the area. This is the Prime Minister's building, or the seat of the Prime Minister. I could go into a lot of this. It was really kind of amazing. There is a Prime Minister and a President of Iceland. Our tour guide, our tour guide, I show you, this is our tour guide day, backwards, getting us all the hot dogs. But he actually told the story of a lot of times we'll just be standing there and the Prime Minister will pull up without any guards or anything like that, and just walk in. They didn't do that day, but he also said that the President of Iceland, his niece was at a soccer game or a football game last week, or maybe it was a little while ago, and playing. His niece is really young, and he was cheering on his niece, and I want to say, I can't remember her name, but there was another little girl with the same name, and right next to him was the Prime Minister of Iceland, just standing there cheering on his daughter. So really, maybe daughter or granddaughter, I don't know, but really kind of cool stuff. So along the way, this was the third restaurant that we went to, and I actually wrote down the name here, Icelandic Barinn. Icelandic Barinn, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Icelandic Barinn. And I'll kind of shoot. Now this was the kind of interesting one that I've been waiting on. Now this is just a picture of right next to the seats that we were at. They had some board games, things like that. But this is now this wasn't the actual meal. It was just something that we had to try. This was your, the fermented shark. You had to take a toothpick and pick out one of these small little pieces of fermented shark. If you want to look up on YouTube people trying to eat fermented shark, we were told this was very mild fermented shark. It really wasn't terrible. It wasn't something I would try to go out and eat. I would never wake up in the morning and go, I want to go get some fermented shark. But it came with, you could order, they say the thing to do is order a bottle of, or a shot of vodka to go along with it to help it go down. And this is the vodka. Oh, I can zoom in. This was the vodka, the Brennivin vodka. My understanding is that is called the Black Death vodka. So I had Now, I had actually eaten one of these, and then I just grabbed the thing afterwards so I could take a picture. And then we also had a beer along with it. But here also was, after we did that little experiment thing, meat soup. And I'm not a vegetable meat person, soupy person, but it came with some bread, and really, really good. Really, really tasty. Now, Day, who was sitting to my left, he actually broke up the bread and put it into the soup. I actually used, and I wish I would have done that just to see what it was like. I had actually already put butter on my bread by the time he started eating. I was like, oh, maybe I should have done that. But still, by itself, it was really, really good, and really tasty at the what was it? Slenski Barinn restaurant. And I think that's all I've got for that one. Let's see if I've got anything else here. Wrestling gears. Okay. So next. Oh, and this was brought up to us by him. What was it called? I didn't write it down. This is the House of, you know what? I can't remember, and that's why I should have written this down. He may have it in the notes, but this was one of the signs that was there, and it was the home of, or the house of, or the shop of. I think it might be the shop of this person's name. And if you notice here, it was the son of this. And if you want to look him up, there's a Icelandic people don't have normal last names, like my name is Meyer, Smith, Johnson. They actually name their children with the father's first name and then son, if it's a son, or daughter, as the last name. So if this person had a daughter, they might have been named Finnbogdóttir, I think. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with this. Next. Ooh. So, place number 4 we went to. This was really, really good and this goes right along with the theme of combining different tastes that were really good. I think I took a picture of the outside. This was the Sólon. It was one of their newer restaurants in Iceland. I guess they had redone it recently. Really nice high-end restaurant. This was lamb on top of mashed potatoes, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had some more Arctic char on top of regular potatoes, and then cheese with tomatoes, 2 different types of tomatoes on the top. The amazing part, this was really, really good. I really like the lamb. From what I understand, if there's something like 350,000 people in Iceland, and there's over 800,000 sheep, i.e. why they have so much lamb to eat in their hot dogs and everything else, and it's really, really good. I've never eaten this much lamb in quite a while. But the cheese was really, really good. Well, here's the weird part. The cheese was good, but when I combined it with each one of the tomatoes, and I wish I would have had a little bit more tomato because the tomatoes were really, really fresh. It had this flavor that combined with the cheese was amazing. The Arctic char was really good, and the lamb on top of this. So just like I was saying earlier, the combinations were amazing. And this was at the Sólon. And this was right off, so we'd done a circle down to Harpa, circled all around to the hot dogs, and then walked our way up, and now this was right on the Rainbow Street, or near the Rainbow Street. And this was a stop along the trip where Day actually explained to us that while a word in Icelandic looks complicated, this actually is 3 English words combined into one word. And if I'm not mistaken, if I wrote this down correctly, this one word, skólavörðustyggr, I'm sure I killed it. I'm sure it was perfect. This one word means school stone street. So gave us and he was doing this all along the way, letting us know about different things. The last place I went to, I'm going to have to look it up here too. Hopefully I still have the picture up. We went to the Cafe Loki, and I have to tell you, I think this might have been my favorite spot. These are some of the people on the tour with me here. We actually walked all the way up to the 3rd floor, which they had reserved for us, and sat down and had some coffee and a little pastry that he did the history of that with grandmothers make for people, and that was okay. Here's the negative part. I got so ingrained into wanting to be here, I forgot to take a picture of the last thing that I had for this walking tour. And you're going to think this is crazy, but it's rye bread ice cream. And we got a little cup of it, and I want to see if this was us walking up inside the Cafe Loki. And this is right literally like a stone's throw away from the statue of Leif Erikson. So as when we got done with the meal, we could go out and go back over to the cathedral, and that's when I went inside and took some pictures, and I might have some pictures of that. But I want to go back to the Cafe Loki here. The ice cream, the rye bread ice cream, my understanding is it was something that was invented a long time ago or brought up by a family that owns the Cafe Loki. It has been just recently started to be made in other places in Iceland, but if you want the original, it's here. And the best way for me to explain it is I like rye bread. I don't crave it, but I really like a really good rye bread. But it doesn't seem right with rye bread ice cream, but I love ice cream. And this ice cream in a little cup was like if you took Ben and Jerry's and Haagen-Dazs cookies and cream ice cream and mated them together to form some sort of mutant perfect cookies and cream child, and then that child went and found another mutant cookies and cream child and made a super mutant cookies and cream. I mean, I could literally sit in front of a TV and eat this stuff all day long. Let's see if I can find a picture of it online. Those are my pictures there. Did I save it here? Nope. So let's, this will be the last part of the video. I just want to see if, we'll go to images and rye bread. I did a search on it yesterday to try to find this. I wish I would have saved the picture. So this is pictures of rye bread ice cream, and this is actually a good picture of what it looks like at the place that I was at. Now you can see a bunch of different ones, but this is the one that, whoops, wait, back, there we go. Open like a new tab, is that right? So that is what it looks like there. Rye bread ice cream. They had a little bit of a thing on top, but I'll tell you what, just eat that real quick, but then with some caramel. But down below, and it's just this little cup. And you can always tell when something is really, really good because this is the smallest little spoon. I was just sitting there just eating it, and I really wasn't paying attention to anybody. We were just kind of joking around and having some good times. So, so yeah, that is, let's see here. Do I still have the picture up? That is the food tour of Reykjavik that I went on. I'm wondering, do I have any? Oh, this is the inside of the cathedral. So this was the very end. I think I'm near. Okay, so this is the last part, the insides of the National Cathedral for Iceland, and that's the huge organ that's on one side of it. Now they're doing some construction on the inside of it right now. I'm wondering how much would it cost to rent this place, or would they even allow you to do a wedding? I bet you that would be like a royal wedding. Beautiful little cathedral, even though it's not Notre Dame, but, and if you think I'm being weird, by the way, I've actually been working on my pronunciations for different languages. I've been trying to learn a little bit of Spanish, so I'm rolling my I'm not doing that on purpose. I've been messing around with it way too much. Last but not least, I talked about the Rainbow Road earlier. I actually found this road. It's a walking road next to the Rainbow Road, which I actually felt more comfortable walking down. It had a bunch of little shops as I was walking back to my car, and I was able to stop along the way, and just totally relaxed and had a great time. I actually liked this road a little bit better. It was a little bit less touristy, a little bit wider, and had more little shops along it. And then, of course, I stopped and I saw, and I might go here tomorrow as well. There was a sign that said, "All you can eat waffles." And I'm like, oh, that's a place I need to go. So this was a spot that I stopped at there. I think that's the last picture I have. So that's all I've got. I'm going to leave this picture up with the ice cream here. Can I open image new tab? So, hey, thank you so much for checking this out. This went a lot longer than I was expecting. We're at 40 minutes. Wow. But I will continue posting on Facebook. But if you guys want to check it out, again, a really great food trip. If you guys are ever in Reykjavik, if you want to try out Wake Up Reykjavik, they have other tours. I'm thinking I might do their Golden Circle tour this Saturday or Sunday. The Fanfest that I'm going for EVE Online, I'm going to be at Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I was just accepted to do some play testing for their software on Friday. I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement for that, which is kind of crazy. I'm actually working for the Fanfest for like 45 minutes, trying out some of their new stuff they're going to be putting into the video game. I have no idea what it's going to be about. I don't think I'm allowed to know until I get there, but that should be really, really cool. But I'll try to keep posting it on Facebook. Appreciate you guys. I hope you understand. I didn't really want to post all these up because then I would have had to type everything I just said because this is so much fun. So, but that's all I've got. I hope you guys have a great day. I always end my regular videos with this, this catchphrase. I don't know why I came with it, but fly safe, fly dangerously, fly however that you want. Have a good one. See you later.